Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Good evening, Kevin.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. A little bit more volume. So, how old are you?
Okay. You well?
How old are
You
you?
will you will have a field day with me. I am 30, well, about to turn
Why
36.
would I have a field day with you?
I've been listening to you for the past few weeks.
Then you
And
should know that I'm pretty fair. As long as you reason, as long as you tell the truth.
yes, sir.
You don't have to
Um,
call me sir, but go ahead.
Staying on topic, I, of course, have dated outside.
Okay.
And, especially now at my age, I have I have put money and generating more money above settling down.
Okay.
And now, I'm definitely at, you know, as you said the other day, you are closer to 40 than
Now
30.
you're gonna have to speed it up and get to the question because I got more people in there. What's up?
So
Go ahead.
my point is since my situation, I'm buying a house on the lake and I'm going to find a mate in Silicon Valley.
Find a
So
maid or a mate?
mate, M-A-T-E, husband,
Oh, you
potential.
are you?
Well, I have the money, so
Oh, so you're gonna go buy one?
well, make myself more
How
attractive
tall
so
are
that
you?
5'10" and a half.
Dress size.
Pre a size 12. I gained weight in my 30s. A size 12,
I didn't know
5'10".
that's 30. Okay. And what's the largest dress size you've been?
Oh, 14. 14.
Okay. So you're going to
Oh,
go buy a house on the
yes.
lake
My
and then you go,
house.
okay. And you're going to be in what part of California?
No, I'm buying a home
Okay.
in Gainesville, a lake house.
Okay.
And after that, get liposuction. After that, go fly to Silicon Valley, here and there, because the income definitely allows me to, my
Well,
income,
congratulations. You
and
got money.
and use the money as access to
No,
gain
no,
access.
no, 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 no. You're in the fantasy world. See, that's what we do. Look. What I need you to do is look straight ahead. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then I need
Yes,
you. Then I need you to look straight ahead. Focus
yes,
direct. Look yourself in the eye. Okay. And then I need you
yes.
to look 90 degrees down. Do you see a penis there?
You are Kevin.
Then you're trying to do things like men would do. No, you get found. See, you're trying to cheat. You're trying to cheat because you have money. I'm going to go buy a house. So that'll be some bait. Then I'm going to cheat and get liposuction because I don't want to do the work. Then I'm going to go out to California and try to sprinkle myself around and hope I can bait somebody. Good. Do you want somebody making money on your level?
To be very honest with you,
That's a
not
yes or
necessarily.
no.
I am open to men who do not.
Okay, so would you good with somebody making 50,000, 40,000 to $50,000 a year?
If he was,
Is that a yes or no? Don't give me an if and don't give me this bull crap. If he was a genie, yes or no? 50 grand.
yes, if he's in the military,
Oh, no,
police
no, no.
officer,
See, no,
yes.
no. You don't. Wow. If he's in the military, a man, would you be all right with him making 50 grand as long as it's legal?
Yes, yes, Kevin, I'm okay with that. Yes.
Wow. The point being, man, the men that make what you make, we've already discussed that. But are you all right paying for a man? Because you're going to want to live at your income level. Yes or no?
Kevin, may I ask a question?
After you answer mine,
So your
do
so
you
your
want, he's
question,
making 50,000. Are you willing to live on 50?
no, I
Then you don't want a $50,000 man.
no, to answer your question, yes, I'm okay with a 50,000
But you
annualized.
don't want to live on his money. So you listen, man. When was the last time you had a long-term relationship with a man?
I knew you would ask
Of course I
this.
am, because you are very detached from reality. And you got the
I
money. You could pay for the session, or we can do it here. Ma'am,
I
let's
know
just
actually you
let's
did,
just get
sir.
right to the point. You
I
have
did get
priced yourself out of the market. Your success is good, but it doesn't count. You have a looks market, not a financial market. The average black man in this country earns $40,000. That's the bulk of the men. And are you an above? Are you a? You already said you're a plus size woman. Are you pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous naturally?
I have long curly
Then
hair, and
that's a
that's
no. You're an average
now
looking woman.
no.
You're an average looking woman who's over her healthiest weight.
Hence the liposuction.
It's still, oh, Jesus Christ. The delusion is just real.
But if I have the money, like
You
even
can't
like,
buy a value man.
can I buy beauty to lead me
No,
that
because you
direction?
don't know. No, you got what you got. You want to lie. See, liposuction without the exercise, you'll just get fat.
I work
All right,
out.
ma'am, I am going to hang this up because I keep telling you something. And this is why dealing with women your age is a problem. You can't even have a conversation with a high value man. How the French toast are you going to have a relationship? Hmm? You can't even have a 5-minute conversation without being contentious because you think somebody gives a crap about your money. Your money don't mean nothing to us. Did you hear what I said?
I heard what, yes,
Your
yes,
money doesn't
Kevin.
mean anything to us. And a straight up man at 50, he's going to say, look, babe, we're going to live on my 50. He ain't going to let you put him up in some lake house to where he can't pay the mortgage and you got him in a car. And these men don't want to be kept men. You know the kind of guys that want to do that? Beta males. You want a punk. Go.
You're right, Kevin.
Excuse me?
You're right.
I
That's what happened
know.
before. That's exactly what happened before.
Well,
And I,
all right. Well, uh,
yeah, you're
therapy.
right, Kevin.
Have you gone to therapy yet?
No, to
All
answer your
this
question,
damn money?
no.
Okay. Here's the formula. You need therapy, personal trainer, image consultant, matchmaker. Because you are far out. See, if you didn't have the money you had, there's no way you could be as detached and deluded you as. If you had to go work in a call center or a regular job in retail, you think you can buy me, and that's not how it works. You can buy beta males, but men, nope. And you know, getting that going well, you're not going to be willing to live it. You're not going to be willing to live it what the husband, if you could find him, would provide. And you don't want no $50,000 man either. You say that for a phone call, that's $25 an hour, man. That's $1,000 a week before taxes. $1,000 a week.
Kevin, if I may I retort?
Yeah, go ahead.
You made a very important point a few broadcasts, excuse me, a few broadcasts ago, where you said chaos, where high value men do not want to deal with chaos. And when you said that, it truly resonated with me because I do not want that. I cannot afford that. I cannot afford chaos because obviously that's why when I mentioned I am okay with a 50,000, 60,000, honestly, Kevin. Man,
50,
that's why I
60,
said
70.
military, police, because they're more disciplined. A
That's what,
military man.
you don't know that, ma'am. You don't know that. You're
Okay.
assuming that. You don't know that. You don't know that. You're in your head. You've made up a fantasy world. How many a $50,000? Do you know what a $50,000 car looks like? I mean, a car on a $50,000 salary looks like. You know what a home looks like. You know what the friends look like. You know what the school looks like. The kind of money you talking like you have, you're not gonna be able to deal with it.
That's a good point.
Forget
Kevin.
Tom Ford, Chanel, and Neiman Marcus. You're gonna be at Macy's and Ross. Forget Ruth Chris. You're gonna be at Outback on your anniversary. Knock it off, man. Therapy, matchmaker, personal trainer, image consultant. Have a good day.
And lipo.
For your brain. What the heck? We got to do a better one than that. What's going on? Good. How old are you? What do you got for me on the topic?
If you are or consider yourself to be a high value woman, do you think then that you should settle then for those kind of guys?
Okay, hold on. You just said I said that women should not settle. They should, and say the next part because you were taking your headphones off. You were taking your headphones off, so I didn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I was taking them off. I said that I was saying that you say that we shouldn't settle for those kind of guys. So what happens in the cases where you find that you consider yourself to be a high value woman, and you want to be with that kind of guy, and you say that you shouldn't be unequally yoked? I believe that
be with what kind of guy? The kind of guy you would settle for?
Yeah, the kind of guy that you would settle for.
First off, I don't say. Hold on. Let me want to be clear. I don't talk about women settling or not settling. I say that far too many women talk like they're settling when they're getting an average guy. So we need to be on the same page. You're 27.
Yeah.
Did you graduate from college?
Yes, I did.
Are you earning more than six figures?
Yes, I am.
All right. And are you talking about being in a relationship with a guy who's just an average earner?
Yeah. So you say generally when I listen to your conversations, you say about 10% of men, well, in the States, earn about 42,000.
Okay.
If I remember that correctly. So then would you say someone earning, a female earning much more should be with a guy around that much?
No. That's exactly what I say. You should not do. Your money and your income and your education doesn't matter to a man as far as sexual marketplace value. Mm-hmm. A woman's sexual marketplace value is built around her looks, her body, and her aesthetics initially. That's the disconnect, because many women who tend to earn more tend to not have the other things that men want, meaning they tend to try to compensate for their lack of fitness or beauty by income and education. And men don't care about that. Now,
really? Men don't care?
No, not like you think we do. Now, just because you may find one or two guys that does, this has been said. I mean, is that new? Is that new information to you?
Not necessarily that men don't care, but I find that a lot of guys that I do speak to want their women to be, a certain standard. Whether
and due respect, you're 27 and you live in your part of the world. That's anecdotal.
Fair.
So we tend to attract like-minded people. But how long have you been following my platform?
About a few months,
If you've been
two
following
together.
my if you've been following my platform for longer than 30 days, the concept that men in general don't care about a woman's income and education is a foundational pillar. I even referenced Abba and Preach today talking about the same concept. When
Yeah.
Abba was saying we don't care. We don't. Especially productive, competitive, successful men, because your money, ma'am, I don't have access to it. I don't control it. So why do I care what you make unless it is under my administration?
Maybe not in a relationship, but in a marriage, don't you think things become a bit more intertwined?
That's how it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
But we live in the West. How many women do you think in the West get married and give? How many women in the West do you think get married? And these women who out earn their husbands give husbands full access to their money. It's ours, and what's yours is yours. That's how most women in the West tend to come into it.
Okay. Okay. I just really wanted to get your thoughts on that because,
But the thing is, I mean, like I said to the woman who was the PhD,
yeah.
and I said, man, if you were working at Walmart, would you still be looking for a same man on a socioeconomic status? She said, no. I'm like, that's a problem. Because if you were at Walmart, you would still be your same age, fitness, look, everything else. That's really what men look at initially. Some men may value your education and income, but also most men just be like, it's nice. Did you hear what I said earlier about the doctor?
Yeah, I think I caught the tail end of that.
So if you called your girlfriend up and you were telling your girlfriend about a guy you met, and she said, "Ooh, tell me about it." Well, first off, he's a doctor, and she'd say, "Ooh, oh."
Which is
But
what
if
will
you
probably happen. Yeah.
right, but if it was a guy and he said he called up his buddy, so tell me about her. Well, first off, she's a doctor. Oh, she's smart. Those are two different reactions because we measure two different ways. Women look at it being a doctor means you're probably going to be earning a certain amount of money. You have a certain kind of educational background and a higher socioeconomic status in the marketplace. To a man, just means she's smart. We care about what does she look like. Case in point, if you have a buddy, a male friend, and you want to introduce him to a friend of yours. Hey, Daniel, I want to introduce you to a friend. First thing you're gonna say is, "What does she look like?" But if you have a friend that's Danielle and you want to introduce her to one of your male friends, she's gonna say, "What does he do for a living?"
That's true. Those are usually the first questions. What do they look like? What do they do?
Because, but one comes from a man, one comes from a woman, because we measure differently and have different expectations.
I think because as women, we look to men as the provider
That's fair.
or the one that well, you want him to be out earning you
Well,
because you
well,
see
well, well. Well, that's fair. Then you're how old?
27.
You should have got married at 20. If you wanted a man who out earned you, you should have got married earlier and built together. But women are waiting later to get married, and the only thing that goes on later is you get older, you get further in your career, and presumably you're making more money. Men don't change just because you age and earn.
Okay.
That's the fundamental problem in the West. Women are delaying marriage to a point to where men become economically unattractive to them at a baseline. But these very same men, if they would have dated them back when they were 21 and 22, they'd have been fine with. Or if you'd have married him, let's say you're the guy you're dealing with making $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
But if you married him at 21 and you turn around at 27, you're making 100 and he's still making 50, he'd have 6 years of being your husband. You
I guess
wouldn't.
when you're younger, you look at the potential. As you get older, you don't want to look at potential. You want to see what's right in front of you. And I've
Well,
noticed that definitely does happen.
well, but the point is, if he married you at 21, y'all had 6 years into the marriage. Your income would have increased, but you guys would have still been investing into one another. Now it's like, well, I'm making up here. The problem is, the thing is, that women start earning higher, hypergamy, meaning women tend to want men to have at least what they have or more. So if you're making 6 figures, women tend to want men who are at least on that level. The difference is those men want something too. See, what we assume in the West, we've told women that you can want what you want, and then the guys you want are supposed to be blank slates. Go back to the PhD, remember? What do the 5% of men who earn the kind of money you're talking about want? And all you heard was crickets and laughs. She was completely out of her depth. She didn't know what I was talking about.
But just to go back on your point where you said you should have got married at 21. I mean, I grew up in London, and I didn't know many guys that wanted to get married at that age.
Well, I didn't say you should have married a 21-year-old guy at your age. I believe you should be age gap dating. Is Jessica in here? I've told you, you guys should be dating guys, especially if being a traditional woman is a big thing. Men don't hit their earning stride until 45 to 55. This is why in the Eastern Europe and in South America, in places where they're more patriarchal, men being 15, 20 years older than women are expected, because you have to be able to take this woman from here and provide for her. Either you get married to a young guy early on, but that's not happening in the West as much, because honestly, relationships are not being really pushed. And for every woman that may want to get married or be relationship minded, far more women are looking at men at that level and saying, "You too broke to date me." So that means if you're a woman who's relationship minded, you're going to have to end up age gap dating. If you're 21, dating guys who are 30. Because those are the guys who are more ready to settle down, guys who are your age at university. Yeah, you're right. Not a lot of them are.
Yeah, at all.
Well, and this is the problem. Women have been told to go out and get a degree, get a job, and then when you decide to turn around and get married, the men will be there. That's not true. It's basically said that men are just out here to be grabbed. And there are men out here looking, but what's the biggest gap between a man you've dated?
Age gap, about 5 years.
That's pretty small.
Years, yeah, very small. I never thought dating older was a thing or would be a thing. I've always dated guys around my age. We're going through life together at that same stage.
But you're not going through life together. Okay, but a man, if you're a traditional type woman through life, you need to be with a man who can teach you some things. Or if you want to go through life together and go through life struggles, that's the thing. Either life has trade-offs. If you want somebody who's roughly your same age, then you're not going to get a guy who's necessarily earning that amount. Men just don't hit their financial stride. If you're out earning most men, if money is that important, the men who are earning that kind of money are pretty much locked into what they're locked into. And see, here's the net of it. Modern women in the West have been told you have all the choices, and you don't. It's really up to the men. It's
so
up to you.
Any choice here in this?
Not when it comes to men. No, we have the choice. See, let's say you want a man who's making 6 figures, right?
Right.
There's only a certain amount of those men, and there are millions of women. If there are less than 200,000 of those men and more than 7 million of those women, who has the choice? The 200,000 or the 7 million?
The 200,000. Sure.
Right. And it's up to you and the 7 million to separate yourself from the pack. That's not the story that's told. The story that's told is you guys have the choice. That these guys over here are supposed to come woo and seduce you. And they're like, are you kidding?
But how many women are out there that are fit, feminine, and friendly and fall into those categories of things that you said?
How many? How many?
Yeah, how many?
There's a new 18-year-old every day. That's the truth. There's a new one every day. every day. And that's what I said earlier. And the chicken fried steak and meatloaf thing. It's like, well, yeah, but how many of those, which is by extension saying, yeah, but what men want really is that rare? No, it's really not, because we live in a world that's connected by these things. And the men you're talking about have resources and access. And there's no problem for a man with resources and access to travel or get what he wants flued in. If he can't find it in London, he may go over to Scotland, Ireland, maybe New Zealand, hell, maybe the States. But bottom line is, we got time. Does he have to get it now? No, he could be 40, 35 years old. He could wait till he's 40, 45, and he still get it. You don't. And see, what I'm saying is women have to start moving with a plan, date with a purpose, and move with a sense of urgency, because you've been given a lot of faulty information. If you look on your left ring finger, you see it ain't working too well.
Well, I mean, that's what I realize now. I mean, I live in the Cayman Islands now, and I just realized it's going to be much easier to date guys that are older if that's what I'm looking for.
Dating. Now understand something. I keep score differently.
Okay.
Dating, hooking up, dealing with don't matter. Marriage is the only score that matters over there. You may be able to have lots of can you date these men, or do men come to the Cayman Islands looking for wives?
Well, I mean, the Cayman Islands has the highest divorce rate, so I don't know about that, but
that's what I'm saying. Most people don't come to the Cayman Islands looking for wives. They're coming there with somebody or looking for what? You need to get really plugged into what kind. That's why I said you ladies really got to start, because at 27, ma'am, you're officially in the danger zone. 27 to 35. Well, you need to focus like a laser on the outcome you want if you want a relationship, because you have 8 years before you reach geriatric pregnancy. And all these options, telling women you have a multitude of options keeps you in analysis paralysis and waiting. And more women end up waiting and running their clock out. The next thing you know, it's like, well, damn, I'm 28. I'm 29. I'm 30. Oop, no, I'm 29 for the second time. I'm 29 for the third time. I'm 29 for the fourth time. Oh, I'm actually 34. I'm 35.
That can lead you to settle for the wrong person.
Huh?
And that's the thing I don't want to do. That pressure can lead you to settle for the wrong person.
See right there. See, now it comes out. Here comes the woman of the West. How dare you talk about settling? And now here comes the woman of the West. Here they go. They never make settling. How dare you ladies talk about settling? These things are what keeps you simple. Settling for the wrong person. Now, listen, young lady, and listen here. Get rid of these Disney fantasy notions of love. You don't marry for love. You marry for duty and respect, and love comes later.
Love comes after.
Right. Western countries where people are marrying for love are dying. Check out what's happening in Korea and Japan, where people your age aren't even dating. But the notion of I'm not going to settle is what women talk about. A bunch of single women talking about they're not going to settle, as if single women controlled marriage. How crazy is that? It's like gazelles telling lions, I'm not going to settle for being eaten. You don't have a choice. We're the lions. You're the prey.
Okay, maybe settling is the wrong word, but you want to make a good choice. Same way.
No, you want to see, that's wrong. You wouldn't have to be a Christian, would you?
I am.
Well, see, now you're all wrong. You want to be the choice. He who findeth the wife findeth the good thing and obtaineth favor with the Lord. Your job is to become a wife and be found. See, you're in a masculine position. You're not to be finding somebody. You are to be found. Like Boaz hopping up on Ruth.
I agree. I don't disagree with that.
So the point is, if you're a Christian, make yourself a wife and let your Lord and Savior do the rest. Do yourself a favor and become the woman you need to be to become the kind of wife you need to be. And men go looking for wives. Men put women into two categories, wives and everything else. But a lot of these notions you're talking about, you toggle between traditional and modern Western ideals. Those don't work for women, not for the kind of outcomes you're talking about. You don't pick, you don't settle, you don't make a decision. What's supposed to happen, really what's supposed to happen is your father and your brothers are supposed to vet the men that want to come court and date and marry you. Then they're supposed to kind of hammer out a deal and say, well, here's my daughter. You go from here to there. But we've taken that out. We've taken that out now. It's a completely deregulated, completely deregulated dating market. Now you ladies out here with all these modern notions, but you don't pick. We do. It's
Yeah.
your job to make yourself the best choice of the men who are looking for wives. Ooh, pick me, pick me, pick me as a wife, pick me. That's your job. Not, ooh, show me that you're worth me marrying. That ain't how it works. But that's what you've been told. After this is over, go Google something called the husband store. Go Google the husband store joke. Go read it.
All right. Well, I do love your show, so and I'll keep listening because I get a
Appreciate
lot of good points from it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Keep smiling.
Hi guys, it's a good evening. Welcome back again to the Spotlight News. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. And may Mr. Kevin Samuels work keep going on forever, and may his legacy and good work stay remembered forever for the good he did to the black society. And may his soul rest in peace. And may us keep his work trending, and let's not keep this work down. Let's keep on, because I think he has the most building and good work and the content. So guys, don't forget to always follow him. You're looking for marriage, you're looking for situationship, friendship, you want to divorce, you want advice on how to handle marriage, you want advice on how to, you can go back to your marriage and how you can handle whatever you're going to handle, here is your point. Just listen to these videos. I swear they won't leave you the same. You will get something into it. You will change your life. It will change your life. This is work which will change your life and which will always be mwah, for you guys. So we are going to look at these oversized ladies. By the way, ladies, let me say, we could take we I say, okay, as to me, I would say as ladies we would work out a lot more than guys. Though I know working out is the most difficult thing, but if you're committed, you can work out and have all that you want. Personally, I do work out. I do go, you have to look nice. For your man, you have to work out. But at the end of the day, we put pride to be high. And first of all, even in marriage, ladies, why is it that most cases we ladies cause the most problems? It's where you find most of them being separating. But the trouble is, it's because of us ladies. Why is it that the main point, even divorces, most divorces I've had, there are always ladies bringing the same. There are always ladies bringing the same problems to the to the extent the marriage has to end. And what I've realized, most of these ladies who get to produce when they're still young, at times instead of maintaining the marriage, they're like, no, this guy is not this. I want someone big. I want someone special. I want some. That's why Mr. Kevins could just sit and tell you, mom, what if this is what you have to get? This is like a tip. Uh, ladies, before you consider a partner, consider your friend, consider someone who will sit and someone who will be patient with you. Stop considering someone because of what they have or what they give you. They give you money, they give you what, they give you fame. Because trust me, if you're hardworking, that fame can fade away. And if you're determined as a lady, you can get the money that person was giving you and you can give it to yourself. At the end of the day, that person is not willing to continue with that. And trust me, some men come in with that trick whereby they give you what you want. You start seeing your partner as useless, but at the end of the day, after quitting, there is no way that person is going to take you. At the end of the day, you're going to just be like a dropped dog. Eh? So, ladies, let's try how to work out in our marriages, in how we speak, in how we control ourselves. Because me personally, I believe in marriage, but I've seen a lot of ladies on these videos. I've seen a lot of ladies who don't believe in marriages. Single mothers and single dads, you're spoiling our kids. I'm telling you this because 90%, even our area, if you're to happen to find a child who grew up with a single mom or a single dad, they don't believe in marriage. But trust me, God created marriage to be part of. A man has to get a wife, and a wife has to get a husband, and they have to make a family, the family that has to grow up together. And trust me, if you're to look where the family grows up together, there is that bond and connections the kids grow up with. But you find a lot of them being separated, and at the end of the day you find it difficult for this person to be like, to be proud of marriage, to be proud of themselves. You find them, have you ever sat and you look at a lady trying to connect stories because they think this is worth it? So guys, that brings us to the end of this video, and may Mr. Kevin work Samuel's work stay forever, and don't keep it down. Keep watching. Love you all. May God bless you. And to my commenters, mashallah, may God bless you so much. Love you too, guys.